how is everybody? My name is Al. Welcome to the channel. And let me tell you something. If you're a fantasy fan, then The Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance is something that you are really going to love. It is the new Netflix series based off of the 1982 Jim Henson movie, and it is fantastic. This will be completely spoiler-free. I would not dare ruin the experience that is this series. So I'm not going to get into anything about the series. I'm not even going to tell you what the plot is. I want you guys to go into this and enjoy as much of this. I want you to be as immersed in this as you can. I'm not going to go over the cast as well. You guys can Google that and find out who they are. I really want to talk about what makes this thing so special. I think right now it might be sitting at like a 88 or a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes, and if you've seen any other reviews for it, by and large people are saying it's fantastic, and man, they're right, it's awesome. So here's what makes this so impressive to me. This is really a throwback into kind of old world movie making, where movies were done a long time ago and there weren't a whole bunch of CGI, computer generated images, because we just didn't have the technology to do it. So by and large, a lot of what we saw was done by something called practical effects. And all practical effects are effects that are using real world things, real world tactical things to create certain effects. They're not computer generated. And this does that so well. Virtually every part of this series is done by physical puppetry. I want you to think about that. Let it sink in. When you see this, if you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, think about the intricacies of the storytelling here, and then think to yourself, they did all of it with puppets. It's amazing. But that is really what makes this thing so impactful. There is something special. I'm sure I'm not the first one you've heard say this. There is something very special about practical effects. It has an impact visually that computer generated imagery just does not have, especially when you're talking about things like the fantasy genre. There's something very powerful about creating a show or a movie with real physical tangible objects. There's something about that visually that really makes a story much more immersive, and that's exactly what you have when you are talking about Age of Resistance. It really is astounding when you think about it. When you think about the fact that most of the stuff that we watch today is so CGI laden that you wonder how you could even get away with making something like the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance and not use a whole bunch of CGI. Like, how are you going to create this high impact fantasy world without the computer? But they have done it using puppets. It's fascinating and stunningly good. So the visual impact is the first thing that makes this so good. It is immersive, man. And one of the things we always say on this channel, if you're new here, one of the things we love about TV and film is its ability to transport us into a different place, to take us out of our regular life, to take us out of the long day we had at work, to take us out of feeling this way or that way because we got into it with a friend. We can step into a movie and just sink into the movie. We can step into our favorite TV show and just sink into the show. We can become immersed in it. This is what happens with the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. Visually, it is stunning, and the way that it's produced is extremely immersive. And now if we talk a little bit about the lore is amazing as well. So one of the things that we know from the 1982 version of the Dark Crystal is that when we come into that movie, certain things are in play. So when we come into that movie, we come into the movie with really only 2 Gelflings left alive on the whole planet. But now we get the back lore where we not only have 2 Gelflings left, but we have all of these different clans of Gelflings. So we get all of this lore building up to the things that we saw in the movie, and it's just fantastic. But what's exciting about that, like what really gets you hyped about that, is there's so much that can be done here. There's so much lore to be built here. There's so much backstory to tell that they really can do something for a lot of seasons to come, because there's so much to give us. And that's exciting as well, because when we look at the world building and we see what we've gotten through season 1, and I'm thinking to myself, man, like, we could learn about the origin of this, we could learn about the origin of that. We don't really know much about the origin of this person. We don't know much about the origins of that. We don't know much about the origin of the things that are happening outside of the planet. There's so much that they could give us that you just get so excited about the potential of something like this. And it really, really is an amazing show from so many different aspects, and all of the accolades that it's getting, it totally deserves, because it is fantastic. But I do want to share some things that I've heard that I do think are a little bit ridiculous. Like, people are saying, "Oh man, we might," and you know what? Let me back off of it. Let me not come across as being abusive to people that have those opinions, because it's not right. But I do disagree with folks that are saying that, oh, this could be like the next Game of Thrones. Like, this could be your Game of Thrones fix. No, it's not that type of show. And to me, it doesn't even feel like it's that type of show. So it's not going to be your Game of Thrones satiator, I don't think. It's a different type of fantasy show, but it's absolutely fantastic. I do want to address one more thing that someone else said. Oh man, like, this is as epic as Lord of the Rings. No. Now, don't get me wrong, you just heard me brag about how fantastic the show is, and it's very good. Is it as epic as Lord of the Rings? No, it's not. But it is very, very good. But I am hopeful, actually, that as we move on to season 2 of this, and I'm sure Netflix is going to renew this, that we do get some things that seem more epic within the show. If I had one gripe to give, I wish that some of the battle scenes that we saw in the show felt more epic. They weren't as epic as I would have liked for them to have been. The elements were there in terms of the world building for them to be that way, but they just didn't give us a lot of kind of epic battle scenes. And I really hope that we do get some of that in season 2. But all in all, man, listen, this is something that you have to check out. And if you can at all help it, do not binge watch this. Savor it, baby. Man, watch it episode by episode, kick back and just think about it. Man, don't binge watch this if you cannot help it. If you're someone that reviews movies like myself, then maybe you would binge watch it. But if you don't have to, for goodness sakes, then don't. Please. Enjoy this. Savor it. It is a very, very good series on Netflix. I'm telling you, you guys have to check out Age of Resistance, The Dark Crystal on Netflix. It is fantastic. Make sure you check out more movies that we have over here. As a matter of fact, I'll meet you guys there right now. If you are new here, like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll catch me in the comments, and I'm in there deep. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.